We hit 2,000 subscribers! What is up, guys? DJ Eastwood here. This is the Run It Back podcast, and today we hit 2,000 subscribers. It's an amazing benchmark for this channel. I've only been active on this channel for about 6 months. I hit 1,000 subscribers on Thanksgiving Day, and that was about 5 months in. So it took me about 5 months to hit 1,000, and then we went from 1,000 to 2,000 in about a month and a half. So as you can tell, that's a lot quicker than it took me to get to 1,000, which means it's only going to get faster and grow more as I keep this going, man. I just want to say thank you to everybody that watches this channel, that really enjoys the things that I say, the opinions that I have, the views that I have on the Sixers and the Eagles. Thank you for people that continuously watch it and hate everything I say. Just thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for clicking on my thumbnail and watching the channel. I've said this before in a video, but I just started this YouTube thing because I'm very passionate about Philadelphia sports, and I've always been a very opinionated, very outspoken, very loud, brash person, and not a lot of people in my daily life can really handle that or know enough about the sports that I'm talking about to really even have a discussion. So it's just really cool to be able to come out here, give my opinions, and have people that watch the games the way that I do, and have the conversations with you guys in the comment section or on Twitter or wherever you find me at, because you're a bunch of passionate Philadelphia sports fans like me. So it's cool, it's fun, I enjoy it. Thank you for watching the channel. I never thought I would hit 2,000 subscribers as fast as I did, but let's just keep it going, man. Let's get to 10,000 in 2020, man. Let's see if we can go from 2,000 to 10,000 in 2020. So hit the like button on the video. Tell your friends about me. Tell your friends to subscribe to the channel. Let's go from 2,000 to 10,000 in 2020. To celebrate, of course, we got to give away a jersey. And we are giving away the Ben Simmons All-Star Jersey 2019. There it is, the white Ben Simmons All-Star Jersey 2019. I haven't worn it in like 2 years because I don't wear Ben Simmons jerseys anymore because I have a jersey curse. The way we're going to do that is you are going to hit the like button on this video and post in the comments, hashtag RunItBack2000. If you post in the comments, hashtag RunItBack2000, and you hit the like button on this video, and you're subscribed to this channel, I will put your name in the hat, and I will draw the names for the Ben Simmons All-Star Jersey. So last time I gave away a Ben Simmons jersey, he went off on the Cavs for 34 points in 3 quarters. Last night he went off for a 34-point triple-double against the Nets. And I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling like once I give this jersey away, Ben Simmons' game is going to open up even more. So, yeah, man, thank you for 2,000 subscribers. Thank you all for watching these videos. I appreciate every single one of you guys who like the video, watch the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. Thank you. We're just going to keep it going. We're trying to hit 10K in 2020. Let's just talk about Derrick Rose for a second, because in my post-game video last night, I mentioned that I saw a potential Derrick Rose trade, and I wanted to elaborate on it just a little bit. Chris Haynes from Yahoo Sports is the one that put it out, and who really knows if he's putting that out to be honest, or if he's just putting it out there to get a bunch of clicks. My dog's barking. Every time I make a video lately, something happens. My kid was in the video last night. Now my dog's barking. Let's just elaborate on Derrick Rose for a little bit. Let's do pros and cons. Okay, first of all, I don't know if the Derrick Rose rumors are true. Derrick Rose has not requested a trade from the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons have not announced that they are interested in trading for Derrick Rose. So take that how you will. This whole thing could just be a basic rumor thrown out there to get clicks on the internet. But if it is possible, if the Detroit Pistons are trying to get rid of Derrick Rose, There's 1 year left on his contract at $7 million. The Detroit Pistons are fighting for the 8th seed in the East once again. How I feel about the Detroit Pistons. I mean, when they made the trades to send Tobias Harris to the Clippers, in return they got Blake Griffin. I'm going to go back to basic basketball on this one. That shit did not make sense to me whatsoever. GMs get too caught up in big names in these sports. They get too caught up in big names, and they totally ignore fit. Now, I guarantee you, the owner of the Detroit Pistons thought it was a good idea, because what does he want to do? He wants to sell tickets, right? So they make the trade to bring Blake Griffin in here to play with Andre Drummond. You guys all know how I feel about two centers playing together, or a center and a power forward, or a combination of either of those things in the 2020 NBA. I'm not a big fan of it. A power forward to me is Tobias Harris. A power forward to me is not Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin to me is a mobile, small ball center. I don't like the center power forward combination when you're talking about Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin. I didn't think it made any sense. But when the Clippers had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, that was a different story. Why? Because a facilitator at the top of the key can make all of those things work. Now, when the Pistons brought in Blake Griffin, again, I didn't think it made sense at all. They wanted to sell tickets. It didn't make them any better. It actually probably made them worse. I didn't look at the stats. Because who do they have besides that? I mean, come on, man. They're running Ish Smith at point guard before they got Derrick Rose. That was our process point guard, man. That was a guy that we just had in there because we needed to put a point guard on the floor. And I loved Ish Smith, don't get me wrong. But they signed Derrick Rose. They didn't think anything was going to come of it, really, because he's had so many injuries in his career. They probably didn't think he was going to be an all-star level player. But he's been a pleasant surprise. And he was coming off the bench for most of his tenure with the Detroit Pistons, and he just now recently requested more playing time. Since January 5th, he's been having 20-plus point games ever since January 5th, 22 points, 20, 26 points. So he's actually been playing at a very high level, 21, 22 points per game since January 5th, since requesting to have more playing time. The Pistons are still no good. So if the Pistons finally decide to blow it up and start over, which is what that team's been doing since 2004, which is what the Sixers were doing since 2009, blow it up, start over, draft a guy, he's okay. Iguodala, we're going to try to make him a superstar shooting guard. He's not really a superstar shooting guard, but we're going to drag it out for a couple years. Then we're going to trade them all and rebuild again. These teams get caught in this cycle of trying things that don't work and then starting over again, and it's bad for the fan base. It's bad for the pockets of the ownership, all that stuff. But anyway, Derrick Rose has been playing at a fringe all-star level since requesting more minutes. Is it because the Pistons are really bad? Is it because the Detroit Pistons have no scorers that Derrick Rose is getting all these minutes and putting up all of these points? Who knows? But what I'm saying is the Sixers are in need of a serviceable point guard, and everybody knows it. Everybody that knows basketball knows it. I'm not talking about the Ben Simmons stans that have 10 followers on Twitter and Ben Simmons poster in their bedroom. I'm not talking about those guys. They still think Ben Simmons is a point guard. They're going to argue with me. They're going to be in the comments of this video. I'm not talking about them. Anybody who really knows basketball knows the Sixers need to pair Ben Simmons with a point guard, and it'll open up the floor for him. It'll open up the floor for Joel Embiid. I've said this a million times. So Derrick Rose would be a nice addition to this team. Here's the pros and cons. Derrick Rose cons, I would say, are, number one, he's not a great shooter. Okay, he's never shot higher than 37% in his career from three. Actually, last year is the first time in his career that he shot 37% from three. Before last year, he was a 31, 32, 33% three-point shooter. His MVP season 2010, he was dominant, but most of his game was slashing, beating people off the dribble, getting to the rim. He's 31 years old, 2 knee surgeries. You would think he's slowed down, and of course he's slowed down a little bit. I mean, you watch his MVP highlights, he was dunking over. I mean, he was literally jumping over top of people. He was hitting his head on the rim. He was a freak athlete, okay? So a freak athlete like that who loses a half a step is still a very great athlete. He can still beat people off the dribble. He can still create in the half court. He can still distribute the ball. He's averaging 6 assists per game with the Detroit Pistons. He can still do a lot of things, but I would say one of his cons is that he's not a high percentage three-point shooter on a team that kind of needs three-point shooters. Like I said, most of his game has been getting in the paint. Let's go over some pros for Derrick Rose. He is a ball handler. He is a shot creator. Like I said, he still has the ability to get past people. He still has the ability to create, distribute the ball, averaging 6 assists per game in 26 minutes with the Detroit Pistons. And he's relatively cheap at $7 million on the last year of his contract. So it would maybe take certain players to match salaries. It would maybe take certain players to get the Pistons. It depends what the Pistons would want to do. You know, are you trying to tank and rebuild? Then we got some players we can give you. We can give you Zaire Smith, who has yet to get up to the NBA and really play. I think he played a little bit last year, but nothing sufficient, nothing adding any real value to the team on the NBA level yet. But he's very young, has a very high upside, very athletic, smart kid. He's a learner. I would say that they would be willing to take Zaire Smith onto their squad if they were really trying to tank and completely rebuild and try to get the highest draft pick they can get. With that being said, teams like that usually will take on contracts and will, sign and waive players and all kinds of things like that. So there's a lot of different things that could happen if the Sixers would try to pull Derrick Rose from the Detroit Pistons. Like I said, they've not announced that they want to trade him. He's not announced that he wants traded, but it could be a combination of anything. My personal preference, and I know Al Horford had an amazing game last night, defensively, all that stuff, but to keep in mind that's with Embiid out, okay? And Embiid is not injury prone anymore. Don't give me that. They do load management with him. They say he has a stomach virus or something like that, but it's load management. He doesn't have injury problems this year. He dislocated his finger. That could have happened to anybody. So Al Horford played great last night, but this is all without Joel Embiid on the floor, and I want space. You know what I want? I want space. I would trade Al Horford just to get rid of his contract at 33 years old, $100 million. If the Pistons were willing to take on Al Horford, I would do the trade for Derrick Rose. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it would require something like Josh Richardson maybe, or maybe just Zaire Smith and some draft picks. We have the Oklahoma City 2020 draft pick that's protected, I think, top 10. But, yeah, those are my thoughts on the Derrick Rose trade. Let me know what you guys think, what you would give up for Derrick Rose if the Detroit Pistons were willing to trade him. I think he would be a perfect fit between Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. But there might be other options out there that we can look at as we get closer to the trade deadline. Thank you guys so much for 2,000 subscribers. We're going to give away the Ben Simmons All-Star jersey. Thank you all for watching Run It Back. As always, my name is DJ Eastwood. Love you all. Have a great week. Peace.